Hi, my name is Tamta and welcome to My Kitchen, Her Story. Today's guest, she went from India to New York to London, United Kingdom. She was a trader, a professional Bollywood dancer. She was also on Dragon's Den, and now she's a founder. Hosting and welcoming is part of her culture. But how do you really do that with all of our busy schedules and these days? So she created a marketplace where you can hire chefs to come and cook for you and for your friends and family in the comfort of your own home at the restaurant prices. Please welcome the founder of Yhangry, Siddhi Mittal. We got through it! Yes. They don't know how many takes we did.
Wow, cool. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
I'm so glad that you're here. And look at us. I might knock over something. You're so heavy. But we thought we would dress up, guys, since we are cooking an Indian dish. Tell me a little bit more what we're cooking today.
Yes, so this dish is inspired by the Indian heritage. So paneer is a crucial part of what vegetarians in India eat. My entire family is vegetarian. Everyone is. So paneer is like the main big ingredient for me. You do a lot of stir-fry vegetables, where in this case it's very easy. You stir-fry it together, you put it on a little bit of toast and have it with coriander chutney. So
you know what? For me, the hero ingredient here is the coriander. I love coriander.
Oh my god, me too. And I have it every day, and I can have it with anything. It goes with like Western foods.
But some people, they can't have it because they taste it as a soap.
I've heard this before, and parsley and coriander. Some people either like coriander, not parsley, and it's like people have very individual preferences.
Yeah.
And coriander is very Asian dominated.
Yeah.
Whereas in the European culture, parsley is what you use instead of this.
Yeah.
So not everyone loves it, but amazing for you. I'm excited.
I'm also starving. What time is it now? Like 9 a.m. or something? And I was telling you earlier that I can have like a hardcore, whether it's Indian food or like a Thai curry or whatever, 8 a.m., no problem.
It hits the spot. People don't get it. It's so good.
I'm like, dim sum at 8 a.m., sure, no problem. Like,
I'm with you.
Yeah. Like a little bit of pav bhaji, a little bit of whatever. Although I love Indian breakfast, you have some delicious.
I'm still laughing at all of this knowledge of Indian food, and this is wild, and I think not a lot of people understand, but yes, I'm totally with you.
Amazing. So tell me what I can slowly get started on while we dive into a little bit of your story, because you have so many fun stories to tell, and we only have like a certain amount of time. Maybe we should do the whole series, like city series.
Okay, yes, but before that, let's get through this dish. Right, so how about you take the onions? Okay, let's see. We can divvy up, we have one, and then we need to chop.
You want the whole thing?
Maybe like half of it, or
so you know what I heard? So apparently, that's yours, by the way.
Got it.
That's mine.
But
why did I steal your knife? I don't know. I mean,
that's okay. I'll take this one. That's a bit intimidating. Yeah. Like, look at that knife! I saw you use it, and I was like, keep that away from me. Oh my gosh. Honestly. Yeah, I'll take this one. I'm comfortable with this.
Oh, yeah, fine. But you know what I heard about the onion? Like, if you put it in the freezer before cutting, it's not going to make you cry.
Never knew that.
So I'm going to now cut it in half and put it in the fridge for a bit so that you're not seeing me cry here. Can you imagine me melting down here?
No, please don't do that.
I mean, it could make for a good footage, but like,
okay, cool. So you'll do the onion, I'll do this, and I'll grab some chilies.
Oh, those chilies are spicy as well.
Perfect.
Awesome. So let's get started. While I pop this in the fridge and like slowly go there.
I don't actually think that works. I don't think that's going to work that quickly, but I like the optimism. Tamta, I like the optimism.
Okay, can I cut another one of these while you do that?
Here
Okay.
we go.
So, you were born in India?
Yes.
Where?
I was born in Agra, actually. It was a very small town where Taj Mahal is.
We know that. Yeah, okay.
And, so childhood, 2 sisters, one older, one younger, so I have a middle child syndrome. Middle children are perfect, by the way.
What's a middle child syndrome anyway?
Oh my god, you grow up seeing everything that the old child did wrong, and then you're super responsible and super sensible, and the young child
and the young one is the spoiled one.
Well, it's like the loved one, spoiled one, exactly. So I think the middle child syndrome is like you just think you're like very well balanced, you know. But it's a thing.
Is that how you refer to yourself? Like, I'm really well balanced.
In my family, yes. Okay. I'm like the best of the children between everyone.
Let's hope that your siblings don't watch this episode.
I know. And also, this is so biased. Like, this is what I think of myself. But anyway, yeah, grew up in Agra, and my dad comes from a business class family, which is not.
What's a business class family?
Actually, a good question, because I feel like if you said that here, people will think entrepreneur, very sexy, or maybe, it just is more glamorized. But in India, you either have a job, or I suppose you're just trying to figure out how to make some money. There's so many people, and I think my dad, for example, my grandfather, he constructed dams. Like literally like Nagarjuna Dam, where the water goes and all this crazy stuff happens. Okay. And it was just like hustling to like make sure you could feed your family, and then they did all this crazy stuff. So my grandfather died after I was born, and I never saw him. And I think what that meant was I came into a world where my father didn't know how he was going to support his family, because he had 2 children and he was 24.
Right. Oh,
and
wow. That's young.
So you have so much responsibility and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, growing up, really, my mom is super clever, super smart, but she was the one who had to take care of the household, because back then women didn't really have careers.
Right.
And it wasn't normal. And for my dad, he had all these businesses he was a part of. Like, we've seen like a plastic can factory. We've seen, he actually once had a shoe business, and as kids we had like 20 different beautiful shoes at home, every
That's
day.
Amazing. That's like literally like a dream.
Exactly. And then that went away very quickly, because he was like, no, that's not going to work. And then once there was like this milk factory, and we were reading about cows. It was just really crazy. And I think, I think we kind of grew up seeing a lot of volatility.
But also entrepreneurship.
Yes, and now we know that.
Right. But also, how did it impact you seeing your mom being the housewife, homemaker, like however politically correct you want to call it, whatever name?
So the thing is, it's so interesting, because I really respected that, because she is an incredible woman, and now actually she has her own full-fledged career after like 55. She's really like flown with it, and she's like the president of this like huge all over India, what is it called, a community service organization. But back then, when she was a housewife, I was like, wow, people they study really hard, and then you get married into this family, and then together you are raising kids, and like housewives are incredible, and they are, but I just thought that was the only thing I could do.
Like get married and have kids.
Correct, because she was the female, and she was an amazing female role model. So I even remember, this is crazy, when I was in 11th grade and we moved to Delhi, I remember someone asking me, so what do you want to do after college? And at this point I was like,
that's a weird question.
It's a weird question, because yes, we grew up studying, but I was like, wait, what? And I was like, of course a housewife. I said that with like a straight face. I was like, of course a housewife.
And now, look at you.
I mean, now...
Business owner, entrepreneur, let's go, giving talks, all of this stuff. But actually, you know what's the funny thing? I was talking to a friend of mine, and, we were talking about the concept of the show and, like, how we're doing things. And he was like, well, I find it really funny that, like, those women, like, the world is really trying to be like, women are not in the kitchen, we're not gonna cook, we're not gonna clean, like we gonna go and build careers and be CEOs, or like work in corporate ladder, but you're actually bringing them back in the kitchen. And I was like, it's interesting to me how your thought process is around that, because for me, this show, it's all about we can do it all. It's like we do run businesses, we look amazing, we can also rustle up some snacks that the good thing is that people can't taste through the camera, because sometimes it's not that great.
Yes.
I'm kidding. No, to be honest, like we didn't have any like disgusting, tasting like crazy mess ups dishes, but we can do it all, right? And so I think that's the message, but also I love cooking. Like, why do I have to be influenced by the world where it's like, but no, if you cook for someone, it's like you're less of a woman.
It's so interesting, because I do think like the dialogue around here is quite complicated, because when I grew up, I actually never learned cooking, and I never did it, and that was because my mom was like, go back and study, like use this time to do other stuff, because she saw that as a trade-off of taking away from her education.
Yeah.
Because of the Asian culture, you just prioritize education so much.
Yeah.
And I think when I grew up and when I started like going all these places, and still in Asian culture, I do feel it's like a lot of these men who are never asked to cook, whereas you look at the woman, you're like, hey, so by the way, do you cook? And it infuriates me. Yeah. And I think that's almost made me take a very strong stance that I will never cook. But when
you
I
went another extreme, yeah.
Yeah, and actually sometimes I do like to make some things. I almost hide that. Because I'm like, if I say, then I'll be back in the kitchen, you know? Then they'll be
they
like,
just expect me to cook all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's actually crazy because you're right. It's not one or the other at
No,
all. And
no,
just because
sure.
you do this doesn't mean you can not do the other thing. And
Exactly.
funnily enough, now I, like with the business I have,
Yeah.
I mean, like kitchen is such a normal place. And actually most of the chefs are male. So I'm like in the...
Well, it is, you know, that whole industry, the hospitality chefs,
male dominated.
Super male dominated, right?
So so I think the funny stigma really is like, and it's not even a stigma, I guess historically, just women did more housework and chore work, and where the cooking stigma comes, and it's like now a lot of people who then have professions are trying to break away from it, and I think they have such polarizing stances. But yeah, I really like your stance where it's like, look, we can do this, and it's not a big deal, and it's just like a part of just another thing.
Yeah, amazing. So tell me then, since we touched upon your business, I would love to kind of hear more how it all started, how it was all inspired. I did say a couple of words in the introduction, but really how it was, thought through and how it is going now. Get started while I get that onion and my own risk and see what happens.
I'm comparing the peppers and
I don't know
if you can see this, but your peppers are adorable. They're so perfectly chopped.
Is that a thing? Can you have an adorable pepper?
Like, look at this. Oh, I love it. Very good handiwork there. As someone who interviews a lot of chefs, I think I see a good cook when I see one.
Well, first time I cooked was during COVID because I refused to eat the same delivery every single day.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And that was it. Anyway, we're not going to talk about cooking anymore, but... So tell me why Yhangry. Also, I love the name.
Thank you. It's a very polarizing name, actually.
I can get hangry when I'm hungry. It's a real thing for me. So tell me how it all started.
So what I did before Yhangry was that I was a trader for 6.5 years.
Right.
And it was a very brutal, intense industry, which a lot of industries are, but here it's sort of like you're running a book of $500 million in risk and you're making decisions. And what I loved about it is you got to put on risk, aka have a view of the world. Let's say I think Italy is going to do well or badly, because of that banks are going to do well or badly, and I have a position, and if I'm right, it will make money. And that was so exciting. But then I think at some point in that career, I started to think, am I leaving a permanent impact on this world? Or is this something that I want to do forever? So at the end of the day, in a career like trading, it's single dimensional. It's all about the financial profit you get at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was so towards the end of the 5th, 6th year of that, I was like, right, cool. This idea kind of always was in my mind, where I was like, I grew up in India. Mm-hmm. It's just so obvious, we grew up seeing amazing people who could help out, and we just had a great home cooked food at home. Whereas when I went to New York and then I got deported to London. Oh God, yeah.
What do you mean you?
Well, I say that I would have been deported to London if I hadn't left in the next 3 months.
Okay.
Visa issues, typical immigrant visa issues, and then I just never saw anything remotely like this. So either you cook, or you just go out, or you get delivery. Those were the options. And at that point, what I did know is I needed a partner in crime, someone who just wants to do something together. Mm-hmm. And that's where I met my amazing co-founder, Hainan. So she's Chinese, German.
Oh,
and we shared a lot of our values, because I think she was the first person who I spoke to about this, and she was like, I totally get it. I would use it. It makes sense. And then we together saw a world that actually no one else did, because I think in finance, we were kind of stuck in this rut where we wanted to break out, but very few people are willing to take that leap of breaking out.
It's hard. It's a big decision. You go, and I talk about it all the time. People ask me all the time, how did you go from, your tech corporate career into entrepreneurship, and how easy was it, and how scary was it, and it's petrifying.
It's so scary.
Right?
Yeah. And I think everything from like, if you don't even have your family in the same country, how will you pay rent? Do you have enough savings? What's your runway? So I think all of these psychological fears we had to go through sort of together.
Yeah.
But knowing that there was someone else with me with very similar sort of like family values, or like, you know, the roots were similar.
Yeah.
It was amazing, because I think without her, I would have never done it. And I think
it can be a very lonely world to be a solo founder. So that's amazing. But also, I talk a lot about the importance of choosing the right co-founder, because that could be disastrous too.
Yes.
So like, you girls met, you kind of floated that idea between you two, and then you were like, let's do it.
Yeah, so we met and we were like we already knew each other professionally and we got along. And I think that was
So you both worked in finance?
Yes, she was in sales, I was a trader. So we actually were like almost arguing against things. It was always in the best interest of the company. You wanted to maximize money, but as a salesperson, you want to take care of clients. So we had different interests, but together for the same company. And that gave a great foundation that when we argued, it was very professional in a very professional capacity, and we could then drop everything at the end of the day, be like, hey, let's go get a drink now. And it was really nice, and I think I loved having her as like a colleague. And then we started to go deeper, and we were like, right, okay, so what else is there? Like, is this your dream job forever? And it was important to understand, like, only when you get comfortable do you ask questions like that. And then she was like, no, not at all. Like, I would love to do something by myself. And then we discussed this idea, and she was like, yes, this makes sense. I remember it transitioning so quickly. Like the next day we were in a Starbucks, we were like, let's forget everything, let's just do. So like, she had her calendar out, she was like, right, how many people around us do we know that can book a chef? We didn't have a chef, we didn't have anything. We were like, this is a great idea, let's execute. So got the calendar out, started pinging people. We were like, let's just make up a price, like something like £150 for something, and you get a chef and groceries. At that point we made up a price.
How many people was that for?
You know, we didn't even know. Like at that point, I was like, I don't know, we should say 6 people, if we should say 10 meals, whatever. I think it was something like that back then, and at cost. And then we started texting people. We had a PDF of dishes, and we only came up with Indian and Chinese dishes between us, because we didn't know
because of your backgrounds, right?
Exactly. And then we circulated it, and we got our first order. And I think that was at the beginning, because we didn't know, but we knew it existed, and we just got started. So that was how the first day to 3 went of Hein and I discussing this idea.
Was this before COVID?
Yes.
And obviously COVID is the whole thing. We still are talking about it. We still are talking about the impact of it, yada yada. But like, you got started before COVID, but then for a business like yours, I would imagine if you gone through COVID, post-COVID, must have been so much more, you know, such a lucrative business, because people opened up their homes to others during COVID, when you could have only, you know, 3 people, 4 people, 6 people, whatever that bubble was. And host them in your home. And so we kind of got reminded how good it feels to host the guests and friends and actually cook for them, or, you know, it's so much more warm and nurturing. So how did you see that transition from pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID for the business?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would say at the beginning, it was like the best thing ever. We had all these, like I said, psychological barriers. You needed to make sure you had enough money, all this stuff. Once we were like, cool, our fathers have agreed that we should quit. And they're okay, and they support us, which I think was important for both of us, like family support. Then we quit, and then we were like, awesome, now like within a couple months, like we're gonna be like a $1 billion company. And I think you just have this,
I mean, we're not walking, but let's run, why not? Let's go to Olympics.
Exactly. And then I think, obviously, because also the first booking we had, I remember, was of this, we didn't know who the person was, and it was like completely random. At this point, our website was really terrible. And when an order came in, we used to do bank account transfers, and I was like, oh my god, this is the first person we don't know who has booked, like what
they're actually giving us their money.
Yes. And that's like the proof of concept, right? And then I was like, what's gonna happen? And I forgot about it, and I remember it was like a Saturday, and I picked up my Instagram. It was blowing up. Like, it ended up being this group of 8 influencers that had weirdly found us. And it was like a Hindu, and they all tagged us. And I remember looking at Hein, and I was like, we're gonna make it so quickly. It's gonna be the easiest business to build.
I love it.
And I remember it's
oh my God.
Okay,
Life is on
right.
fire.
You know, I did this in COVID.
Yeah.
Hein and I had a cooking class, and we actually managed to. This caught on fire,
Yes.
and I still have PTSD from that.
Okay, no,
Kitchen
we're not
is a
gonna
very
get too much.
dangerous place.
So I actually turn it on so we can. What are we frying? We're gonna fry onions and.
Onions and peppers, maybe with a little bit of chili.
Okay, don't go crazy on these chilies. We're gonna
No, we'll put some of this in the chutney, and
Okay.
then we can leave some of these on the board.
Don't give me diarrhea now.
Oh my God. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
So
Let's get started. Yes, throw whatever you
Yes.
need
So
on
we'll put a
that.
little bit of oil here.
Yep.
Let's get the frying process started. I like that.
Perfect. And then I'm gonna cut the coriander. Yeah, tilt it over. All good. Should I just chuck this all
Oh
in?
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's do it. So yes, back to my question. Tell me how business was before, during, after college.
Right. So before COVID, we got into this program called Google Startups.
Google.
Yeah, and that was great because we finally got 9 other women-funded startups, and it was a community, and it was awesome because no one knew anything, and we were figuring it out together. And that was about 5-6 months, and as we graduated from that, and this is like, I think around the time of like Jan 2020, by the way, like you see where I'm going. It's like right before COVID.
We have a siren outside, but it's okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. So, you know when COVID happened, so this, like obviously we didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
As we graduated Google, things were starting to look really good. Because I was like, whoa, like we have our first kind of website idea. Some orders started trickling in and we were like, we're ready to go. Like, we have quit our jobs, we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then I remember March 2022 happened. And I remember I was sat at my laptop, bookings were coming, and then within like minutes, refunds were happening. And I was just thinking, wait, what is going on? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Because yes, there was news about COVID, and yes, I was seeing like stock markets, and I still followed it. I just kind of couldn't really process, like in that second.
Yeah.
And I mean, like literally fast forward a month, it was illegal to have a business. At this point, Hyman moved into my apartment, and we did lockdown together. And we were like,
That's
right.
your co-founder?
Yes, exactly. Right. So she, me, and my now husband.
You were all living together?
All living in a small apartment together. And we just looked at each other and we were like, we have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to do whatever we can, because that's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
So at that point, we realized actually, neither of us cooked all that much.
Yeah.
I put a little chilies in here just to make it a little bit green. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And I'll put in a little bit of these spices quickly.
Perfect.
So at that point, I think a big lesson for us was life can just throw anything your way.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, wow, like the only thing we can do is virtual. You can get food delivery done to people because you can't see them.
Yeah.
So we actually did an Insta cooking class every day.
Oh, you did the cooking class?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the reason was we realized that the cost of acquiring the customer dropped to like pennies. And we were like, if we just get on camera and do some cooking, people will follow Yhangry.
Well, yeah, but also like it was that entertainment
That people
that
needed.
online that people needed, and everyone started cooking and baking. I remember like literally like there was no bread flour and like no
Yes.
baking sheets.
We were some of the holders too. Like if you saw our thing, it was like beans and beans and beans. It's like, dude.
No toilet paper.
Ever.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes, I think that was COVID for us. It was crazy, but like we also burnt our kitchen on fire. Like it actually happened. On Insta Live, there was this chef. It was us. We were cooking. And Heinen, instead of watching the stove, was like, hey, Siddhi, what are you doing? The next thing we know, there's a fire behind us.
Oh my God.
And it
Stop.
Yeah.
Like actual fire.
Yes, and you know the one thing you should never do?
Yeah.
What would you do if this lit with fire?
You deprive it from oxygen.
Yes. So
Right.
actually, I almost started to put on the tap, and she was like, no, for some reason, she ran out and chucked it outside.
Yeah.
But yes, actually, we could have burnt our faces off, which is why kitchen's a very dangerous place if you don't know these things.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think that was COVID for us. At that point, Dragon's Den reached out to us, and we were just saying yes to everything. We were like, if opportunity comes our way, we're going to say yes, 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 because we don't know what to do.
Right.
And that was sort of COVID. In retrospect, good. We made the most out of it, but there like whatever we could do, we did. We tried to get chefs income. We were like, if we can connect virtual classes or get you delivery orders, we will.
Yeah.
Because we are doing our bit to help the freelance chefs on our platform.
Yeah.
And I think after COVID lifted, although people were like, oh, it must have been the best thing for you, and it was, like demand did increase, and I could just see people got more comfortable being at home.
Yeah.
That being said, it was difficult. Like COVID was in and out, and we were a people business. So if a chef got COVID, if a customer got COVID, it was insanity. So I think we operationally, even post-COVID, it was very difficult because we were running like a human services business. And it was difficult. However, it did grow. I think the demand was healthy, and we saw this like rapid increase.
Skyrocket.
And we were like, this is amazing. Like we got it. That was our second false positive. We were like, done. We're going to make it so quickly. And I think
false positive.
Yes, it was a false positive. You know why? Because Omicron hit then. And this was like the third wave.
Oh, this is another strain.
And this is 2022.
Is it just me or
No, I feel it too.
Okay.
But I think you really helped with taking over a little bit of that.
I know. You're just like talking and I'm like, I'm going to cook for you.
You know, the multitasking element is like not as easy as I expected.
I know.
Okay.
So wait, let's just quickly go back to this. What are we doing?
So
is this done now?
Yeah, I think maybe we let it be a little bit more. Or maybe it is done.
I think
it's done. Okay, perfect. And I think if I can empty it out and put the paneer on there.
You want to put a paneer on there? Okay, got it.
We can do the
And
paneer.
how do I cut the paneer? It's fine. This will take time
Cubes?
to warm up. In cubes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, let's say Omicron hit.
This is a challenge. Like, how is this happening? We're talking, we're in lehengas, we're cooking.
I don't know, but also like I just took a liberty of like cutting up, roughly chopping up the coriander. I didn't know what he wanted with it, but
chutney, which we will do after this. Perfect.
Okay, got it. So tell me, so Omicron hit,
and that was the time where things were really good in business. Everything was going up. And at this point, our model was that we do the groceries
as well.
Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
like we would go to Ocado or Deliveroo and place the order, and then chefs would go to your house. They'll have all the ingredients there, and then they'll cook up a storm. And our hypothesis back then was, it just makes it like more affordable for everyone. It's easier, and we're innovating like it's like a new business concept.
Right.
And things were really good until Omicron happened, and Tamta, it was just like it pulled back the curtain on everything that wasn't working. Because when something really bad happens, it's like all the orders disappear. You realize like, wow, the burn's quite high, and then all these operational issues that we were solving, and everything came because of groceries. Because we can't control third-party groceries, as you know. Like it's impossible to know that your order is gonna come.
Yeah.
It was wild, and this is the time we got into Y Combinator, which technically is like the largest. Well, it's not technically. Y Combinator is the largest Silicon Valley accelerator. The acceptance rate is like less than, I don't know, like 2%. I told my mom, I was like, like Harvard? So I'm kind of doing Harvard, but it's actually better.
Well, that's a good advert for Y Combinator.
It is.
So what was it? Explain to us what's Y Combinator.
So Y Combinator is the accelerator that has funded companies worth over $600 billion. So Airbnb, Stripe, Coinbase, Instacart, DoorDash, OpenAI, all of these big companies come and start off with Y Combinator. And they're just really good for seed stage companies because they really make you like question, what's your customer, what's your problem? So we got into Y Combinator, and it's like everything cratered, and I had the biggest imposter syndrome. I was like, I made a fool out of them. They accepted me when our revenues were like this,
and then
we
now
got it, and it was like nothing. And I remember sitting, it was actually virtual, and I'm thinking, do they think we're so stupid? Like, what has happened? And I think it was like a very
do they think that we tricked them?
Yes, because we had all these people, and it's crazy because we actually had a business and we had all these issues, and there were some people who just got in with the idea. Yet, I thought maybe we are the ones who don't know because we had made a mistake, So I think that was an interesting time for us, and we just had to reinvent. So in Y Combinator, we scrapped everything overnight. So our revenues went to zero again for 2 weeks because we were like, groceries is not working. So if something's not working in your business, what do you do? I think what you do is, should I put this back here? Yeah. What you do is you try something else and you take the risk.
Yeah.
So we were like, right, okay, logically this is not working. Our customers don't really care if we shop or the chef shops. And actually it's probably better if the chef shops.
Yeah.
They know where to go.
Yeah.
So overnight, we changed everything. Like we didn't do the menus, chef did the menus, and as a result of this, all revenue dropped. And I remember the panic. I looked at Heineken and I was like, whatever we've done for the past 1.5, 2 years, it's all gone. Like now it's completely new.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, okay, and I think this is where we had to go through all these fears, like psychological fears. And I think YC actually told us, Y Combinator, they were like, every founder is going through these fears, and it's just like people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, detail your fears.
Yeah.
So our fears were things like, what if our money runs out runway? And then you go, no, but what else are you so scared about? What if we never recover revenue and business fails? And then you start realizing, oh, what if people judge us? People think, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you realize, wow, you answer each of these questions, right? You're like, A,
Yeah.
there is enough, our runway is 18 months, so forget about that.
Yeah.
B, there's always an answer, and we learned this process. And Tamta, it's like YC was burnout, and I think just realizing all this stuff was happening, it was such a big change.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very tough time, but it was like one of the most rewarding times because I think it was like just seeing the depths of darkness. And I think we had stopped talking
Experiencing it all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, well, not exactly, but I think a lot of founders go through really tough times, and it's just like you have to just get through it and make it back up. And I think we did the little things we did were like, let's start talking to our friends again. Let's go to the gym. Let's go on that walk because we've just been in front of our laptops for 20 hours a day. We were working 7 hours, like 7 days.
You were working 7
7 hours.
Hard job. Oh, poor you.
Yeah, so I think that was like our sort of, I think that was like a very intense journey. We went through a burnout, and I think coming out of it was like, whew. I think revenues improved, our mood improved, and business really, I think we built something like so much stronger.
Yeah.
But we had to go through the craziest dip of just nothing working and being like, it's okay.
And so that really, like being in Y Combinator, having to hit that pause in your business, that really made you look at vulnerabilities of the business.
Yeah.
Right? But also made you look at, why is this no warm? Okay, it's getting warm. And made you look at also at a business in a way that, okay, how are we changing and plugging those gaps so that we can go and like we can become stronger and really accelerate our journey and the revenue stream or whatever that is in the business post this period. So, you know, how did you then transition from that brainstorming type of period where you're really rethinking the whole model, you're rethinking the whole, you know, how you're doing things and what works, what doesn't, what the vulnerabilities of the businesses are.
Yeah.
So and starting from scratch, kind of.
Yeah, that basically was it.
Yeah.
I think what we really learned from that was it's so easy for people to make up features and make up problems that don't exist.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, oh, this is a business I'm running, and we were running, and we had all these customers, but we weren't actually talking to them to figure out things. And I think what we learned from that time is we just had to speak to our customer. And when you build and ship something, you don't just keep building and shipping. At every point, you're saying, how's this going? How's this going? How's this going? And I was
you're doing baby steps, but also proof of concept, right?
Yes.
Like you're checking what's working and keeping an eye on it.
Exactly, and I think it was such a basic thing and so crucial because our revenue did recover, but then we changed things so many times. I think like I count 3 or 4 times like big changes after that.
Yeah.
But they all came because we were seeing customers act a certain way or like say something. An example of this is, we used to not have chef profiles. We were like focused on menus. And then when I pick up the call, customers would be like, okay, I get it, and I see the chef's face, but where can I see the bio? And where can I see the attributes about the chef? And I was like, yeah, but like you're trying to book for an Indian meal, and here are the dishes, so like why do you care about this? Because it was my assumption and hypothesis that it didn't matter. And then I think we were like, right, okay, we need to create the chef's whole profile. And another example is like, customers weren't really booking menus. They were like, oh, I like it, but can I make this change? And can I make this change? And can I make this change? Which makes sense because it's like dietaries, and I'm vegetarian, and I have a
and there's so many dietaries these days.
And I have a pregnant friend who can't have like cheese and all this stuff. And then all we were doing is like, I was like sat in the middle being like, yep, you're done, as if it was like a trading floor. Like, yep, you're done, we can do that. Chef, you'll do that. And then at some point I was like, wait, step back, and if I just build messaging, can they just speak?
They can just speak
So
directly.
now we have a messaging and a call feature. Think of how it's just so basic, but I think we didn't dream that feature up. We were seeing what our customers were trying to do.
What the demand is.
Exactly, and if they want something, they're doing something. If you build it and it works, that's awesome. So I think that was our learning, and that's like now we are so much stronger. We've rebuilt everything. That we kind of lost pre-COVID. And I think then we came out of things have been pretty good since.
Amazing. Should we do the chutney? We had this garlic here. Where do you want the garlic?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think we put it in the chutney. And I think we blended it.
You don't remember? Okay.
So I think...
I'm going to roughly maybe chop it.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's a hand... What's it called?
Hand blender.
Hand blender.
That's enough?
I mean, I think just put all of it in, no? Like, when can you ever have enough coriander?
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
And then we just squeeze
we
lime
squeeze
in it?
lime in it. We put a little bit of chilies to give it a flavor. And garlic, actually, yes, which will be very delicious. And then let's see that work. God.
This is like a finger exercise.
I was going to say, I think I saw my chefs make it, and my mother-in-law makes it all the time, actually.
Yeah.
And a little bit of water. But I think with the hand blender, we'll need a little bit of water.
Yeah, I'll get her some water. So tell me, how was the fundraising for you guys? Did you do it before COVID or after again?
So split into two parts, one before and one after.
Yeah.
And for us, basically, the very first time we went out to fundraise, we knew that we had a very strong network in the corporate world. And we knew intuitively we had to tap into them.
Yeah.
Also for UK startups, you have this thing called EIS, SEIS, and it's a huge tax relief.
So can you explain what that is? Because I think like a lot of viewers would know what that means.
For sure. So essentially for the first up to 12 million that you raise as a part of your startup, it's EIS eligible, which means, for example, if you ask someone and they give £10,000, and SEIS is even more beneficial. Let's use SEIS. They get back 50% in a check back from HMRC right away. So they already are investing 5K and not 10K. And then let's say your business goes kaput, then they get back another 50% of that. So actually they're only investing 2.5K, whereas the investment you're getting is 10K. And their downside is only 2.5K. And that's incredible because then you tell people, look, the risk reward on this investment is crazy. Like you stand to lose 2.5K, but you could be earning like 100x.
Right.
And that's like a very powerful system that UK has for startups to get funded. So that's what we did. I think we just a lot of calls, put everyone together. And I think we very quickly, actually, quicker than we expected, added up to 1 million plus within 2 weeks. And we were like, perfect, that's what we need.
Amazing. And that's not really the story many people can tell with such a success. Do you want to do the chutney?
Oh, did you get water?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. This is like yesterday. So the one thing we speak in our company is if you can anticipate what needs to be done and you've done it, we say #yesterday.
So can I get hired, please?
Yeah, I mean, you are #yesterday. Oh gosh.
Okay. #yesterday.
Okay, I'm gonna try this.
Let's see what we have going on here. Oh wait, don't press it.
Oh, right.
Oh, it smells so nice. Smell it?
Yes. A little bit more blending and then I think we're there.
More blending?
Oh no, you think it's done?
No.
Oh, I think that looks done.
Girlfriend.
As long as it tastes like maybe we can, some salt.
Should we try it?
Yes, let's try it. I think I've forgotten a little bit of salt.
That's fine.
Okay.
So who are your investors on board now?
So that was our first round of fundraising.
That was before COVID.
That was before COVID. And then I think the second round was, I'll wait a sec. Can you hear me over the blender?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the second round was after we actually went through YC. And YC, it's obviously a big one. And I think that really helps and changes the dynamics of starters and investors. Because after YC, it was, even easier, I would say. And we had a lot more, I would say, US startup funds. And they're very different. That you jump on a call, and the first call they usually commit. And it's like, it'll be ticket sizes of like 100K, 200K, but you get that commitment in pretty quick. Oh my God, how is it?
Spicy?
Oh no. Wait, how much of these went in there?
No, it's good.
Okay, good.
Try.
Okay.
But
shall we use
no,
this
it's
to
not that
plate it up?
spicy.
Oh, I love it. That's
It's
my
good.
spice tolerance.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Okay.
I think there was a more.
Okay,
cool.
Shall I plate it up in here?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool.
So, like my nose because from spicy
Oh
thinking.
no.
It's not like my mouth is fine.
Yeah.
My nose is like
Yeah.
clear my sinuses.
Yes.
So go ahead, plate it up, and don't forget our deliciousness here. So where are you guys now? What's happening at Yhangry? Where can we find you? Where can we book you? Tell me everything.
Love it. So www.yhangry.com.
www.
Should I do that again? www.yhangry.com. @Yhangry on Instagram. So obviously that's where you can find us. It's a very easy process to find a chef, find a local chef in your area and book. And it starts from as little as like 30 or 40 pounds per person. So it is very
40 pounds per person.
Yeah.
And I get to have a chef at my home cooking whatever I want. Do you have different cuisines? Because you obviously got started with Chinese and Indian.
Yes.
You said no?
I love your memory. So we do pretty much actually 28 cuisines or so. There are a lot of cuisines, and once you you're able to filter the chefs local to you, you will see what cuisines are available. And actually, chefs are incredible. They can personalize anything. So if you say, actually, I want this or this, they'll work to you.
Yeah.
And being a chef,
well, cater to your needs, right?
Exactly. So everything is personalizable. Yes, for 40 pounds a person, you can expect like a 3-course, maybe it's like sharing style, whatever you like.
Yeah.
And I think obviously people on our platform, we have all ranges of chefs. We have restaurant chefs, master chefs, Michelin chefs, chefs you've seen on TV.
Oh, amazing.
So for some people, you're like booking 100 pounds per person, but you're getting a master chef in your own home and cooking this insane tasting menu, you know?
Oh my
which is
God,
still
I love
unimaginable because people think private chef might cost like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, but
Yeah.
really it's not the case.
Which it can, and I actually know some other platforms where you pay like arm and leg.
Yes.
And it's just a lot.
And I think our goal is to just create value for money. Like you are booking chefs and you're seeing their backgrounds, but it's great value for money.
Yeah.
And in terms of what we're up to, we are scaling all over the UK. We are currently available across UK, but we are just adding more chefs and incredible chefs outside of London. So I think over the next 4 to 5 months, it really will be like every single postcode across UK will say, wow, there are so many chefs near me and I have more choice. Because we have that in London, but it's harder to replicate that like in South, like Scotland, because we're still new. So we're getting there. And it's actually really exciting because now we have so many bookings from West Midlands and Scotland and and I think we just want to grow more of that. And the second big thing we're doing is focusing massively on chefs. So the first 2 years of our business was all about like customers. How can you get demand? What's the best way? And now it's actually all about chefs. What can we do to make their lives easier? How can we pay them more? What are the tools they need to respond to these quotes? Like when they wake up, is the right thing to send them a message? What are they doing? So it's all about understanding the chef now, which will propel the next phase of our business.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
that.
Amazing. So we love to like wrap things up with a advice to future entrepreneurs, to someone who is actually going from corporate world, whether it's finance or otherwise, it doesn't matter, into entrepreneurship. And what is the one thing that they need to keep in mind? What is the one thing that you would have done differently, maybe, knowing things that you know now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think what I would have done differently is be very actively aware of the highs and lows. Because I think I kind of textbook read it. And it made sense. Like founders have high highs, low lows. Sure, I know that. But when you go through that low, your brain is out of control and it spins. And I think what you're not prepared for is how will you cope? Like how will you get back to this?
Yeah.
And high is easy. You're like smashing it. But then low, you're in your mind and you start doubting yourself. So I think all the coping mechanisms of low are like 1 foot at a time. Get out there, go to the gym, get healthy, like speak to your friends.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, and it's so basic, but I think I'm still learning that. It's like still where things go like a little bit dip. I'm like, oh gosh, like a little bit frazzled. And that's when I go, right, okay, I'm just gonna take it one day at a time. And I still believe
Yeah.
It's just like it's a little blip, and this is always going to happen. So I feel that's the big takeaway. I wish I'd done that better, and I think I would have just like been more contained, and the journey would have been slightly easier. But I don't think the journey is ever easy. So it's just like one of those things you should expect. And I think the second bit is create your community very actively faster. And we actually did a good job of this, but we could have done more. So everything that's opened our doors is people, meeting people, and literally whether it was the first fundraising check or the first customer, or literally every little door has been opened by someone that was introduced by someone or a cold call. So get into the habit of that, do more of that, and create a community, because you're not going to want to speak to people in corporate because they're not going to be able to help you on this journey. So the transition from corporate to founder life meant create your new tribe.
Yeah, create your new tribe.
Exactly.
Know who's going to be the door opener, but also mentally a supporter of you and the business.
Yeah.
Amazing! I can't wait to take this dish.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, I think it will be delicious.
I think it is. I tasted the paneer cheek.
You did?
And it's, I think it's tasting all right.
Okay, I added some spices, took the liberty. I was like, we need more cumin there.
Oh my god, I loved when you did that. You know, I didn't know it. Yeah, perfect.
Amazing. I feel like we also have enough for like you guys to snack on it too afterwards. See, I see it. Thumbs up. Like, yeah, let's go get over it. Eat it.
Okay,
let's go.
I'll pick up this one.
Oh. Okay.
Cheers. Cheers.
Love coriander.
Love coriander. Pretty popular for a normal cooker. I'll do that again.
You mean I'll do it again?
Tamta, you are awesome. Thank you for this.
Thank you for being here. Yeah. Ooh.
You know? Oh my god.
You have to eat the whole thing. I want to eat it actually because I'm so hungry. I actually went to sleep last night and I was like
tasting and not eating. So I went in for the second bite and I was like, oh god, now this is an elaborate eating affair. Awesome, but that was very fun to cook, and thank you so much for
I got something for you. Just hold. You
All
can.
right, I will hold. I'm not touching that again. The situation is tough. Guys, that was a very intense, multitasking experience. Lenga and cooking and talking. I've learned something here today. I got you flowers! Oh, what a pretty thing.
Well, I got you. Flower box got you flowers. Because these beautiful roses to say thank you for being here as our guest and sharing your story with us. And yeah, we can't wait to follow Yhangry and your journey and have some chefs come over and cook for us.
Yes, amazing. You're incredible. Thank you so much for having me here.